Fort Rainy, every story is a window into another world. But some windows should never be opened.
You stole my story.
I don't believe I know you.
I know you, Mr. Rainey. That's what matters. You stole my story.
Kind of an amazing coincidence. The stories being so much alike.
Her death will be a mystery. Taught down, he said. The guy calls himself Shooter.
Maybe my name, not Shooter.
Hello?
You remember my story, Secret Window? You and me, the only people that know about that, right?
You scared too easy.
You're up there all alone. Anything could happen and nobody would know.
What do you want from me?
My ending. I want you to fix it.
I don't think Shooter's just some nut.
I'd like to know what I'm dealing with here.
You don't want to know.
I will burn your life and every person in it like a cane field in a high wind.
The only thing that matters is the ending. It's the most important part of the story, the ending.
Today is the 2004 Stephen King short film adaptation, Secret Window. As a book, it's Stephen King's Secret Window, Secret Garden. It was directed and screenplayed by David Coep, I believe is his name. He's known for Panic Room. That's what's on the back of the DVD. I'm sure he's done more.
I never seen Panic Room.
I didn't either. I saw commercials.
Yeah.
I don't know who's in it, but it was alright.
Yeah.
It was alright. Anyway, starring Johnny Depp, John Turturro, Charles S. Dutton, Maria Bello, and Timothy Hutton.
Dope. I love the Charles S. Dutton guy.
He's in a lot.
He's in a lot.
I'd seen his face 100 times, but when I was writing the script and kind of like going along with it, watching the movie and checking on things, he was in a lot. It was like Rudy and Legion.
Yeah.
It was weird.
When you see it on paper, it's like the hit list of TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
He did like the trifecta. He was on CSI, Law and Order, and Criminal Minds.
Was he?
He pulled the trifecta.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
I think he was a cop in all three.
He always seems to play an upstanding man.
Yeah. He was always like going down his filmography. It's like Reverend, Preacher, Lieutenant, Soldier, Cop. Reverend, Lieutenant, Preacher, Soldier, Cop. It's like, it's kind of crazy. He did good protecting his character.
Were any of them in the same role? You said like pastor, cop. Was he a pastor and a cop in the same film?
He may have.
May have been.
Which would you go as if you were a lieutenant on the police force and also a pastor?
I mean, it's a
Would
good...
you rather be I would rather be like a hard-ass pastor as a cop. Like, that's Pastor Troy. And like, he's like the badass walking tall cop.
I was thinking Walking Tall or like Machete.
It'd be super hard. Yeah.
Like Cheech Marin's character, who's Danny Trejo's brother, I think. I think he's full brother, step brother. I think he's full brother.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah.
That would be great, though.
But yes, it's a good film. I liked it. I found it a little lacking at times, but...
It's crazy. Like, I found this film like way later. I don't remember when it came out exactly, but I found it recently, a couple years ago at a thrift store. Mm-hmm. And when I watched it, I was like, this is mind-blowing, because Johnny Depp's not a pirate. So I was immediately like, okay, I'm here.
This is 2004, 1 year after the first Pirates of the Caribbean, I believe.
Yeah. And like, it was just refreshing to see Johnny Depp in a different role. This is one of the first movies I've seen him in a different role, other than What's Eating Gilbert Grape. So but he was super young.
This was your introduction almost to Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean was?
Yeah.
Okay, so
like paying attention to
one or two, but like, oh, Johnny Depp, I know that name cognitively.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paying attention to who's in movies, because for years you just watch movies, you don't give a fuck.
I don't know exactly my first movie or my first couple initial movies. I know I'd seen him a couple movies before Pirates, and I'd known him.
Yeah.
I knew the name when the movie was coming out. I don't think I was fully old enough to, like, get the hype, and, like, I was online blogging about it on AIM Chat, but, I knew the name Johnny Depp. I know I'd seen him in a black and white movie my dad had in, like, you know those 4-packs to Walmart?
Oh yeah, the classic movie sets for $3.99.
Like,
yeah,
they just wrote movies together. Like, these all have a cowboy in them.
Yeah,
One might be a John
Western
Wayne.
set.
Yeah,
$3.99.
Not even the same actor in any of the same movies.
No,
it was in one of those, or like on a flip side DVD of something.
You can score on those though with the animation ones. You catch the right 4 animated movies, it'll be like 2 random Pixar's or DreamWorks and something else.
Oh yeah, it'll be like Up and Toy Story 2. Like,
yeah, and like your score is like, hey, I have those, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need to own Toy Story 1 if I have Toy Story 2.
Right.
Yeah, no, you can luck out. I've seen a lot of I wouldn't say by any means my favorites. I mean, there's probably 1 or 2 films, but I've seen some good films.
Oh yeah.
I think that's how I got introduced to the Sean Connery movie The Rock, which I believe is a James Bond movie that they took away from James Bond to do a single movie of.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I've never
we're going on a tangent. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Well, the essential plot of Secret Window that we were talking about is Johnny Depp is a close to disgraced writer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Spoiler alert. Kind of midway through the movie, they tell you that he has stolen a story before. And this plot revolves around a quote-unquote another person claiming that you have stolen my story and you need to, I want my credit. Come out and say you stole it. So I don't want to say disgraced, but he's divorcing. I don't think it's finalized, but he's divorcing his ex-wife.
Yeah, and he's the one holding out. You know what I'm saying? So he's going through it. He doesn't want to get divorced.
He is the one holding
he's like, I'm not going to sign the papers. He's going that route. And yeah, he's like a down on his luck type writer. It's just...
I guess more down on his luck than
disgraced.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's a published author. He's got shit. He's made books. He's been in magazines, apparently.
See, they don't fully tell you. It's hard writing. It's hard to write a good story. It's hard to get a good story recognized. But I know a lot of people that haven't wrote anything that have been in a magazine.
Yeah.
So they don't really tell you. It's supposedly kind of like a Mary Sue for Stephen King, but not fully. Because you get the vibe he's famous, but they show you one story in particular, and he's struggling to write another one, and he got his start with a short story.
Yeah.
So I think it's his sophomore album. Or, not album, excuse me, his sophomore book.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, his second kind of like, you need to you wrote a hit.
Yeah.
Follow it up.
You made a decent first book. Now what are you going to do?
So I don't think he's a bestseller, but yeah, he's kind of down on his luck.
It's definitely a story written about writer's block.
Absolutely.
Like, this is Stephen King expressing his frustration about writer's block.
Writer's block and dwelling, because I want to say, I don't know much about his personal life, but I think he may have had a divorce.
Oh, he's a wild boy.
Or something.
Stephen King was a wild boy.
Was he?
Oh, loads of cocaine.
I kind of picture him as a...
Some books, he's like, I wish I could remember writing them. Like,
yes, I remember he wrote, I think Dreamcatcher is on cough syrup.
Yeah,
which, by the way, great. Have you seen Dreamcatcher?
Probably. My mom's a huge Stephen King
is
fan.
in it, and I forget some other actors. I apologize, but it's a great... I think Tom Jane is in it.
Oh, wow.
I Want My Kids Back, Tom
I Want
Jane.
My Kids Back.
Yes, I think he's in it. But, sorry, another tangent. But yes, I think she's a Mary Sue. I think that's what Johnny Depp's character is, kind of. But, yes, he's caught his wife cheating on him in the act, red-handed, at a hotel. That's the intro scene, is him kind of pattering to himself.
Sitting in his little green-colored Jeep.
Yes, a little Jeep Cherokee.
Parked awkwardly because they're in a corner room at a motel with the doors outside. And, like, if anyone looked out the window, they'd be like, this dude's about to drive through the building. There's no reason for you to be parked at this angle.
Yes, he does, he's hauling for a minute. It's like a 10-foot gap, but he's, going 60 almost. It's so good. I thought at first he was going to run into the building.
Oh, for sure. That's what I wanted. I wanted, ejection through the front windshield of Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp is Killdozer.
I would have loved if, he died there. and like all this is just like a trip. That would have been so good. He
No,
just
for real.
died.
Spoiler alert, it's a Stephen King film, so there's a twist.
Oh yeah,
So, like, he doesn't die, but obviously there's a twist. I'm not
No.
going to spoil it quite yet, but...
it's like Star Wars. You can use the Force to cover up everything.
Yeah, it kind of... There's some scenes where it kind of been like, oh, this is where the movie really ended, and this is, like, your last moments of life spread out, and
Yeah.
so it happens to be a time length of a feature film. But, yes, he's living on his own now. He's been on his own for 6 months. They don't tell you what state he's in. They mention his wife is living in New York.
Yeah,
John Turturro's character is from Mississippi. Timothy Hutton's character is from Tennessee. But they don't tell you where he's living. I want to say it's on a lake, so I picture Michigan-y. I don't know why.
it may be Tennessee because I think he acts as the new boyfriend, the new husband. Actually,
They're not husband yet. You can't get married.
but yeah,
New boo.
yeah,
Not new.
the new guy that
The one
replaced
she was
him.
fucking.
Yeah. The one that replaced him.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we are in Tennessee. Or he says something along those lines.
No. He asked, where are you from? Ted, I think is his name. He's like, where are you from, Ted?
Oh,
And he's
okay.
like, Tennessee. He's like, oh, I would have thought Mississippi.
That's
he's
right.
Like, no, I'm from Tennessee, a little place called Shooter's Bay. Which
Okay.
leads you into a spoiler alert. I keep saying spoiler alert. I'm going to stop that. I feel like that's a nasty habit.
Yeah.
But yes, John Turturro's character's name is Shooter. The man accusing
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, Mort Rainey. We'll just call him Johnny Depp.
Phenomenal acting by John Turturro.
Oh, yes.
John Turturro destroys his role. Like, he sucks up the scene when anytime he gets on camera. It's crazy. And he doesn't have many lines. It's real simple, short and sweet, little sound bites.
He has about as many lines as Charles Dutton's character.
Yeah.
He's a B character. I mean, obvious beyond him being the villain, protagonist, or antagonist.
Yeah.
He's definitely a B character, but he has a lot of roles, a lot of lines.
But they're all real short and sweet, and the way he delivers them.
Very matter of the fact.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's very dry. There's no sense of humor to it.
Yes.
Other than like a
quirky thing
irony.
there.
Yeah.
But yes, he definitely commands every single scene he's in, and I'm kind of going to say this, and I was talking to Jake about this before you hit record. Johnny Depp is kind of subpar in this.
He gets washed. John Turturro, he kind of takes him at every scene. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like a Make-A-Wish kid against Kobe Bryant.
It's
And
really
I hate,
bad.
Like, not that Johnny Depp's a bad actor or Turturro's better. I'm not saying that. But
No.
in this film and in these scenes together,
Turturro, for sure.
wow.
He got into this role, it feels like.
He gets in every role. I
Yeah.
will give the man credit. I don't know a ton of his filmography. I know him mostly from Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
Barton Fink with them. He did Big Lebowski.
Big
with
Lebowski.
them. And I want to say another film. And he did another film, his character from Big Lebowski. It's his story, directed by John Turturro and starring him, explaining that he's not really a registered sex offender. I haven't seen the film.
Well,
I've
that's
heard about
wild.
it, but it's based off a French play.
What?
Or an Italian play. Yes, he
What the
essentially
fuck
took
is-
a Coen character, or his own
Yeah.
Coen character, and wrote his own film.
Oh, that's crazy.
I haven't seen it. I kind of want to, but I've never ran across it.
Just to see what the hell's going on there.
But he definitely controls a lot of his movies. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Another
He is in
fantastic
that, yep.
film that is starring Turturro, obviously. And it kind of reminds me of Oh Brother to an extent.
A little bit.
It's like an evil twin to his character.
It's got the tinge of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Like,
Because that's in Mississippi
yeah.
as well.
I believe so.
Mississippi, Louisiana area, because I know John Goodman's
Yeah.
character is the governor of Louisiana.
Yeah.
And yes.
It's crazy when you look at the
They
moon.
go to the creation of blues. They're there for the day, Mississippi. Anyway, yes.
But it's crazy with John Turturro. You look at the movies and the cast are surrounding him, and he holds his own pretty much. Like
does
all,
more than
like
that.
you know what I'm saying? Every time, and he's in like banging movies. Like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You got George
Mm-hmm.
Clooney, John Goodman. That's a lot to deal with on screen. Big Lebowski, same thing.
And he outshines them. I'm willing to say that in a lot of the films I'm thinking of, he outshines them.
His character
a
is
lot.
very memorable all
Yes.
the time.
In a good way.
Even after all those movies, the Michael Bay Transformers. He's in.
Yes,
he's
I forget
in,
those. I don't forget those. I forget he's in them.
He's in the Shia LaBeouf trilogy.
Yes.
The first one, he's like an actual agent. The second one, he gets fired and he works at like a deli or something. But
I love that. Yes, he's got his own little conspiracy lobby down in the meat locker.
Yeah, and it's
he's
great.
so good. He's so good.
But he's one of those characters, like, if he's, like, the guy with all the knowledge, he kills it. Like, Transformers, he was awesome knowing things.
Even if he's not, he does both. If he's playing dumb or playing smart. And even his dumb characters, they're quick.
They're not dumb.
Like you were saying with Oh Brother, him against George Clooney, it's like, yes, George Clooney's the face of the Soggy Bottom
He's very
Boys,
witty.
But you have George Clooney's character worried about his wife that he shouldn't be worried about. I get it, yes, family, but you're on the run.
Yeah.
And he's arguing with people about Dapper Dan hair pomade. Meanwhile, Totoro's character's reading the Bible or something, and it's just like, but Totoro's the dumb character on paper.
Right?
You're giving him this role like, oh, by the way, you're a dumb guy on a chain gang.
He makes the most of every role he's cast for sure.
He is amazing. Any movie he's in, I can't see it cast by any other person.
And if it was, it wouldn't be that character. You know what I'm saying? It would be a slow down, uneducated character as opposed to a simple-minded character, but very quick and witty in like everyday life.
If they told someone else to play John Turturro's character in this film as Shooter, they would have given you Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
It would have been
like
bad.
A backwoods Deliverance character. But Totoro was like, oh, I got you. And he made like a slithering Southern Baptist Children of the Corn preacher. Like, he's just, I hate him. But I love that I hate him. He's so
super
good.
degenerate. Like, it's really nice.
Yes,
I love it.
And he's very mad at the fact, like you were saying, 1,000-Yard Stare is something that kept coming to mind when I was writing down notes for the film. I was like, every scene he's in, I'm like, 1,000-Yard Stare, make sure to mention that. And I had it written down for like all the scenes.
Well, that's the icing on top. That's what puts all of his scenes over, is his face. Watch his face when he delivers the lines. It's like, oh my God, this dude. That's why I say he washes Johnny Depp, because Johnny Depp's character, I get what he's going for, the eclectic writer guy who's in his own head most of the time.
As a contractor installing windows, you deserve a simple choice. Anderson 400 series windows. They're the cladwood windows contractors trust the most. So much so, they're the windows contractors trust for their own homes. And they even have fewer callbacks for extra peace of mind. When it comes to windows, the choice is simple. It's Anderson 400 series windows. The windows contractors trust the most. Request a quote at AndersonWindows.com today.
Claims based on 2022 Anderson Brand Survey of U.S. contractors.
The time, but John Turturro is like he's the voice. He's the very like voice of reason type.
Yes, like I said, matter of fact, every line is delivered. I don't know any inside information, but I feel like he knocked out his lines in 1 or 2 takes.
Oh, it looks like it.
He is and even if there's cut to editing, and I don't know who did the editing, but it's fantastic editing and cinematography. I wish things would have lingered here and there, but we'll get into that when we get later into the plot. But yes, he commands every scene, and he's very matter of the fact, and I love it. But let's get back into more plot, because we're like 5 minutes in. We just kind of want to take a minute, and like I don't feel like Totoro is mentioned a lot, other than like, oh, he's in this film.
He doesn't get any love I've seen in like big movie buff critic reviews. You know what I'm saying? It's always about somebody else.
No, and I think I eventually want to kind of do, maybe every once in a while, do a actor and kind of
I would love to do that.
Filmography. And I think I want to do him. He's had some amazing roles. When I was looking up Secret Window, like what else has he done? Because I know Cohen's, but he's done a lot of films. But
because there's a lot of people like that are B or C characters most of the time, but their filmography is just impeccable. And it's like, how did you get cast for all these movies?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like you're in the background of every movie I've ever watched.
It's like that with mob movies. You'll notice a lot of people. John Leguizamo was another man that's worked his way up from henchman, unnamed, to now mob boss. And it's fantastic. But, he catches his wife cheating. That's the opening scene. And it kind of does a slow crawl as the first credits roll. on where Johnny Depp's living, which I think we kind of discussed might be Michigan or Tennessee. We're not too sure.
Yeah.
But
Cabin in the Woods.
Yes, it's Cabin in the Woods, kind of like Evil Dead, but not Evil Dead. Just very remote. But beautiful.
Not scary, just really cool to hang out at on the weekend.
Yes, just very isolated.
I don't know.
Johnny Depp's character, Mort Rainey, is sleeping on the couch, and the phone rings, and it's his wife, I want to say. No, it's not. The door knocks, and we're introduced to Totoro's character, who is accusing him, kind of setting up the whole plot. You stole my story, which we kind of got into earlier. But again, beautiful scene, nice introduction, and it leaves with him leaving his manuscript on Johnny Depp's porch.
Yeah, because he won't take it.
Just read this. Yes, just read this. I have proof. Johnny Depp's character throws it away. This is bullshit, shrugs it off, goes back to bed, immediately gets woken up by his ex-wife on the phone. And she's like, I had a bad vibe. And it kind of reminds me of Shining, like, I had a vibe about you, so I wanted to check in.
Yeah.
It just so happened some fucking shit happened.
You could tell this was something to just kind of make the plot keep going, like a cog in the wheel. It was like, okay, we need to get the story rolling. Oh, yeah, I had a vibe. Well, I had a vibe, too.
Cool, what else do we do after Totoro accuses him? We need another scene to get this going.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And then you see his maid, and it transitions to the maid, and the manuscript keeps coming back up. He keeps trying to get rid of it, but it won't go away type thing.
Yes, it's almost like a Weekend at Bernie's, like the body just won't disappear. Yeah, she takes out the trash.
She pulls it out the trash, and it's like, oh, your work fell in the trash or whatever. I saved it for you. And he's like, Jesus Christ, lady, I can't get this thing out of my head.
Yeah, he's like, someone else wrote this. Someone else wrote this. And she's like, cool, dude, I don't care.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to do the dishes, and I'm out.
Right. She's a pretty sweet old lady, because right before she leaves, she like comes up and she's like, hey, some women don't know what they have, and like, you'll bounce back. I understand you're in a rough spot.
Trying to comfort him.
Yeah.
Because clearly,
up, but
if I'm
being weird,
if I'm a housemaid and I'm going to clean a cabin in the woods and it's just this dude writing books and getting drunk, come on, I would feel some type of way.
So what you're saying is, if you're Stephen King's maid, you're checking on him.
Yeah,
awesome.
Stephen King should really stop writing books to like fulfill his own life.
Stop writing adult goosebumps.
Yeah, like we get that this is what writers go through, dude. This is like the third or fourth movie that he shoots like subtle context of like.
I love him.
Yeah, he's something. That's a wild boy though. There's a lot of cocaine.
I
alcohol.
may have heard a story or two, but I have to look into this because I'm kind of curious. Did you read a book?
I'm sure there's a book. There's got to be a book.
If not, just read a couple of these books.
Yeah.
Just read Salem's Lot twice and Silver Bullet. You're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he eventually reads story, and he is instantly like, it's like looking at a snuff film. He's like, oh shit.
He knows right away. I've seen this before.
Yes, I like a very iconic first line. Apparently, like chapter 1, blah blah blah. Like basically, like you open Lord of the Rings or the Star Wars credit crawl. You know what's going on.
You know, yeah. And he's like, oh, I know right where this is, and he goes looking for his.
Yes, instantly, and it's. I believe the book is called "Everyone Drops the Dime," and I know. Yes, they show you for a second. I paused it because the fold away, the author's portrait. It is the smuggest. It looks like a middle school picture, like an ID badge, like you work at Best Buy.
It's really rough.
It's so dweeby, and I don't use that word often, but it's very, very dweeby. I hate it.
Yeah,
it's very smug, and I don't like.
I wonder if Johnny Depp picked that picture.
I feel like they just like were in the middle of makeup and were like, smile.
Yeah,
and he was like, ugh.
And his character, it bugs me, right? He's got the Charlie Brown sweaters.
Not really. That's just at the end. He's wearing his ex-wife's robe, and it's got like holes. And it's very like patchy and
the
gross.
Kurt Cobain-esque haircut. And
you mentioned that like once or twice, and I think it's because, like I said, Pirates of the Caribbean was literally that year before. So I imagine a year or two after getting those dreads taken out, after God knows how many months and hours on the sun, it's weird. He has like a blonde fade going on halfway through, and it's weird looking.
Kind of chin length.
But yeah, it looks like Kurt Cobain and Lazarus or Laszlo from Pulp Fiction, the junkie. It looks like him.
It does. It really does.
But yeah, he reads the story, and there's like another small scene, but nothing really major happens, and he goes for a walk and runs into Totoro's character again.
I love that this dude is supposed to be from Mississippi, and we're somewhere between Tennessee and New York because they keep showing his wife's house, right?
Yeah. I don't want to see an airport scene, but
the dude from Mississippi won't leave this dude's woods. It's wild when you think about it.
Shit.
It's like, what is going on here?
They show him a lot by like a closed down bait shack.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just chilling there.
With like these clearly defined paths in the woods, so people are walking these paths.
What am I thinking? I'm thinking of Christopher Lloyd from Dennis the Menace. Just living under a bridge. He's not bothered. He's passing through, but you fucked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's kind of hilarious.
I love it. Yeah.
It's it really is.
But yeah, you're a big fan of this Totoro scene. It's when they do their second meeting, and it's a little bit more formal. Yeah. And it has my favorite line. He's like, what's an ex... It's not like, what's an ex-wife, but he's like, what's that mean? Because Johnny Depp makes a passive line. He's like, divorce. And he's like, D-I-V-O-R-C-E. Divorce.
It's great.
It's great.
It's great. We're going to clip and put something right here, and it's going to be hilarious. But, yeah, he's telling him that story that he believes he plagiarized from him, he printed in a magazine years before.
Yes, this is, I think, the short story that got him famous. Or at least
he's like, no, well, tough luck, buddy. I've wrote this 3 or 4 years before you, and I have the magazine to prove it. And the dude he's like, there's no magazine with this story, and he's really anchored down on that point.
Yes, I think it's because he hammers down and he's like, but there can't be a magazine. There can't be a magazine.
And he's like, well, where is it? He's like, well, I don't have it with me right now. It's at my wife's house. And he's like, well, what do you mean your wife's house? He's like,
well, ex-wife.
Ex-wife's house. He's like, well, what do you mean your ex-wife's house? He's like, I'm getting a divorce. And he drops the beautiful line.
I love it. Johnny Depp has a couple lines in it that I kind of want to Photoshop and add to my life.
It's a really nice thing. Yeah.
But yeah, one of my favorite, another funny quip, speaking of the divorce line, is, I forget exactly how it goes, but it's something about you have your neck you're acting like a man who wants to take someone's head off with a shovel, which is a fun little catch to at the end. Someone takes a shovel to the face. I won't spoil who yet, but he also has a line where you're like, I think he calls him you're like a man, and you have your noose in a neck, or your neck in a noose, and your feet in Crisco.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to use that any chance I get.
Those are wild ass lines too. You know, but I love that. The foreshadowing to the end with the shovel and everything, and the way he delivers those lines, it's like, it's eerie. It's eerie the way Totoro says that.
Yes, very unsettling. It's
like, what the fuck do you mean by that, dude?
Yeah, I like it though. I like it. It's a good kind of if you rewatch it, you can catch it. But I think there's another small scene or two, and it kind of like he's tense, and he immediately walks into his house, and you caught it that the phone doesn't ring until he closes the door.
Yeah,
I like that. I didn't notice that small little weird thing.
They kind of do like a pan, back to the side of the house or whatever, and he's walking up, and you hear the phone ringing, but I guess he doesn't hear it, and the phone stops ringing right as he gets to the door and opens it. So he kind of stands there for a minute and pauses, like, did I just hear the phone ringing? And he stays there for like a prolonged period where you would think the phone would definitely ring again if this was regular people world.
And it's good directing and editing when you can cram that kind of quick amount of whiplash emotions in under probably 2-3 seconds on
just real short, small things I picked out that Johnny Depp did. I was like, okay, I see you acting a little bit,
Speaking of his acting, I'm kind of going to go on a tangent for a minute because I touched on it in the beginning. It's Johnny Depp's acting and how much better Totoro is. In the next scene, after the phone rings, it's his ex-wife again. I had a feeling, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of checking in because they don't want you to forget that the ex-wife is as much of a big cog in the wheel as she is for the plot. she's not in it too much, which is fine because I personally don't like her. Nothing against Maria Bello, I think is her name, but it just kind of, it could have been any other actress.
I didn't mind her, and I'll tell you why I didn't mind her. But
the payoff.
The payoff at the end.
Worth it.
She was the one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay,
yeah,
I think we deserve this.
Timothy Hutton's character was fun, but she had the most feeling.
After the whole beginning, the whole setup to this movie is her cheating,
absolutely,
and him going crazy. You know, him going crazy, screaming in the hotel. So yeah, the payoff made her character so much more worth
enjoyable.
It. Yeah, enjoyable. Yeah,
I feel you. But yes, it's Johnny Depp's acting. In the next scene, the phone ring, that nice little moment, he goes to bed because that's kind of another kind of saving point in the movie, where I kind of feel like it is written as a TV movie because he goes to sleep at kind of pivotal points, but in a calm moment. But his dog is killed by a screwdriver. I think he's woken up to it. He hears like a smash or kind of just jerks awake, and his dog is dead. And it kind of takes a minute for him to find him. It's under a blanket in like a weird, lazy presentation manner, but his reaction is very subpar. And it kind of made me look over to Jake for a moment and like, is this a TV movie originally? Because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, about this scene is kind of really when it hits you. It's like, this is moving at an awkward pace.
Yes.
It's like, this is definitely, I feel like this was cut up for commercials.
It's moving at an awkward pace, and it made me realize, I was like, Totoro is slapping this fucking movie. He is just, I was like, wow. I love Totoro's character because he emotes more in a blank matter-of-the-fact manner than Johnny Depp does, acting at probably a close to the most peak point of emotion in the movie. I mean, his dogs died, and it's established that they're close beyond a normal dog in a movie, and I think he makes a comment because he's like, oh, you blind bastard. So I think it makes it supposedly even more emotional because Totoro stabbed a blind dog? Well, you're a piece of shit, bad man. And it's not saying anything against Johnny Depp, but I feel like he kind of could have done a little bit more going down the rabbit hole. But it cuts to a kind of nice fadeaway, and it fades in to a purpley blue sky, and it's probably one of my favorite let this settle for a moment scene.
Nature scene, kind of.
Yes. Establishing shot.
Yeah.
I forget the term, but yes, it's an establishing shot, and it's nice. It has a nice silhouette of Johnny digging a grave, and like, it doesn't linger too long, but it lets you like, okay, which again, it kind of makes me think of a made-for-TV movie. Like, I just got done seeing a Progressive commercial.
Yeah.
By the way, Johnny Depp's burying his dog.
And also, there's like, for the scenery that they have in this movie to work with, they're in the woods a lot. I'm sure you could get a lot of good shots through trees and stuff.
I want to say half because there's a lot of cutaways in like New York and but yes, there's a lot of beautiful nature scenes that had potential.
But there's not a lot of them that they focus on.
No.
They don't really focus on the environment enough.
No, I noticed a lot of fades.
Yeah, because apparently there's like lakes and all kind of shit around this place.
Oh, he's literally on a lake. Yes, they made it like it's a lake. It could have been Piranha or Jaws, just as easy.
Because going back to when he finds the dog dead, his reaction when they pan out, you see the moon or whatever, and he screamed. God, that scream was so made for TV.
It's made for TV, and the only thing I could compare it to was the first Ninja Turtle movies, Raphael versus Casey, when Casey gets away, and he yells, "Damn!" as loud as he can, and it's a beautiful sky shot of New York City. I have to compare it to that just offhand because I've seen those movies recently, and it's the same scene, kind of, like as far as you're screaming and we're going to pan out. Go. Wow. Someone in a turtle suit outacted Johnny Depp, in my opinion. And that's all my opinion. But he's burying his dog, and then, speaking of fades, it fades to Johnny Depp now in town, going and meeting the sheriff. I believe it's the first scene he's been in. Mm-hmm. He may have been in the background for a second, but you're finally introduced to him. And this scene, I was telling Jake about this, reminds me a lot of Twin Peaks. It's very quirky, but the conversation is serious. He's coming in and my dog has been killed. This man's stalking me, countless other things. Can you do something? And he is like, I do needlepoint, by the way. It's good for my arthritis.
Yeah, this whole scene was just like super weird.
Quirky.
It wasn't meant to be funny. But
it was. I feel like it was meant to be unnerving in a comedic way.
Yeah, because when he's talking and he's pouring his heart out to the sheriff about his poor dog dying, the secretary, the girl that's sitting at the desk doing paperwork or whatever next to him, is on the phone and just has this wild laughter outburst.
Oh yeah, she's on. It's kind of shown that she's on the phone talking to, I guess, a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something like that, and randomly in the middle of him saying like, "Oh yeah, by the way, my dog had a screwdriver in its fucking neck," and this sheriff is needle pointing. She just has like a moment, and Johnny Depp looks over at her like, "The fuck?"
The look he gave in the movie looked like he was like, that was real Johnny Depp. Like, he looked once and was like, "Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do." He looked again and was like, "What the fuck did you just do?"
I don't even feel like
Energy and innovation. At ExxonMobil, we're producing both, working to ensure a stable supply of energy today and developing lower emission fuels for tomorrow. Learn more at exxonmobil.com/fuels.
We hold the power of prevention. Did you know the simple decision of visiting your physician can dramatically reduce your risk of having a chronic condition?
They are on a mission to help fight cancer, diabetes, heart, and kidney conditions.
So whether your symptoms are mild or none at all, make the call. You are not alone.
Routine checkups can be in person,
online,
or even on the phone.
Connecting with your doctor is easier now than ever before.
We have all been through this together, and we can all get through this together as well.
It's important to take the time. Early detection can save lives.
Go see your doctor. Give you and your family peace of mind.
Because you can have the power.
Your health matters beyond COVID. Connect with your doctor and discuss how you can detect and manage your chronic disease. Schedule an appointment today in person or online. It can save your life. Visit yourhealthbeyondcovid.org.
Brought to you by the National Association of Chronic Disease Directors.
The director told him she's gonna laugh. I feel like that's his natural reaction, but he is such a professional. He didn't stop acting, but he reacted. Like, he didn't go like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But he took a real double take.
He gave the eyebrow raise for sure.
Yeah, a real one.
He was like, "Oh my god, did you just make that noise on camera?"
It's good, and it's stuff like that that showed me the potential this movie kind of could have had. Again, it's a good film. It's probably one of my top 10 Stephen King adaptions, only because there's so many.
It's definitely one of my highest ranked Stephen King films. This is one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies.
Is it really?
Yes. Like, and look, I'm trashy. I love the Pirates. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? I love it. That's where I found him at. So everything I base him on is Jack Sparrow.
I understand that. I'm fine with a Big Mac. If I know I'm eating a Big Mac, you tell me I'm eating a Big Mac, and I'm eating a Big Mac, even if it tastes like shit, I wasn't expecting a steak.
Exactly.
But that's kind of my problem with a lot of marketings. Whether it hits or misses, they advertise something as a gourmet meal, and it's not as bad as Golden Corral, but it's like a steak and shake. Like, I'm not immediately getting diarrhea, but I can enjoy a product, and I don't have a problem with the first two Pirates of the Caribbean. I think my problem starts with the third. It's still a kind of enjoyable movie, but I have more flaws than enjoyment. But that's another episode, possibly. But yeah, it's just a very weird scene, and immediately it cuts to Johnny Depp talking to the first introduction of Charles Dutton, a fantastic actor, probably my second favorite character in this whole film. And this is another scene that reminds me of Twin Peaks, and it's funny that they're back to back, because I can kind of then go like, well, this whole almost 10-minute span is like a third of a Twin Peaks episode. They took out all the action and kept the filler of a Twin Peaks.
You know what I kind of thought, having these two scenes back to back, it kind of put you in the mindset that he is kind of thrown off a little, because eventually, you run into one crazy person, John Turturro. It's like, okay, well, maybe that dude's nuts. You go to town.
I'll be real. I love John Turturro, but if I met John Turturro, I would go, he's nuts.
Right?
I wouldn't go like, well, I guess he's... No, I'd be like, well, this dude fucking rolls his turds in little balls.
And then you go to town, and literally everybody you interact with
quirky.
Is off a little.
It kind of reminds you of Tim Burton.
Tim Burton-esque. In his own little weird
Sleepy
way.
Hollow.
I get that a whole lot.
Everyone in town has their thing, and that's what Twin Peaks is like. The detective will be at the cafe, and a greaser kid walks in. Well, then some lady comes in carrying a log as a baby, and it's like, well, what the fuck? But he's like, well, have you seen? When's the last time you saw this girl? Because she's decapitated, and it's weird and quirky, and that's what this movie reminds me of, at least in this patch. But yes, the Charles Dutton scene is the best introduction. Very fun.
The clock. It's
the clock and the lamp.
The little stuff makes this scene for sure.
Great. And it was another moment where I was like, I love Johnny Depp. Don't get me wrong. He's had amazing roles. He's had amazing solo roles. But I like him best bouncing off of somebody. And I kind of wish in a parallel universe that Charles Dutton and Johnny Depp did a buddy cop movie.
I would love that.
Fantastic. Their chemistry. If you're going to watch this movie, watch it alone for Turturro's acting and Charles Dutton and Johnny Depp's character. No plot, no spoiler, no Stephen King book. For these things alone.
Great roles.
I cannot picture good anyone else, and I don't want to live in that world.
Me neither. The Charles Dutton role, when he's... What is that? Is that like a therapy clock or something? I would imagine therapists have those for like
chess.
Oh, okay, yeah, like a chess clock.
It's used for other things, but that's what you're thinking of is when they take a turn.
Because I know I've seen those little clocks like that before. That's right. That's right.
It's a double timed box.
I guess I should have known that with how popular Queen's Gambit is, but I haven't watched that shit either.
I've seen a couple episodes. It's all right. I wouldn't say it's the best thing in the world, but
no.
I've seen a couple episodes. I give it 4 out of 10.
Well, like we were saying, the chemistry between Johnny Depp and really all of the other actors and actresses in the movie, his back and forths are great, which really disappoints me for the reason, like, this movie, most of it is him talking to himself. He's alone. He's isolated for large parts of this movie.
The whole movie is him coming to terms with everything as it's unfolding, which is good. But I understand. But
his dialogue to himself is like rough. It's real terrible. I know what he's going for. He's going for like inflection and the dramatization of certain things. But it's really hard to do that when you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah. You're referring to the end where it kind of is like, okay, this is everything that's going on, and he's talking like 12 doppelgangers.
Yes,
it is. It made for TV.
And
it's very made for TV.
Knowing the plot and where this goes, every scene really he's talking to himself. You know You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like a Fight Club Junior.
Yeah, he's having a whole internal conflict that no one knows about because it's not real. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, I'm going to say a lot of it's not real, but it makes me question because their phone calls are very 180 because in person, she fucking hates his guts. He's not signed the papers. She's been sucking this other dude's dick for how many? 6 months?
Yeah.
Since they've been divorced. So I'm going to say at least a month or two before this has happened. She's done.
Yeah. But she's also still weirdly, like, attached to him.
It's more of a pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the movie, you know it's a pathetic. Not that he's playing a pathetic character, but he's playing a sniveling character for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a writer whose world is crumbling around him, and he can't do anything about it. Or he feels helpless. It's the atmosphere of the movie makes it's this eerie, like, fog. It feels like he's living in his own world. This doesn't seem like this is real life.
Yes. Yeah, He's lazing around in his own thing.
Not that there is a fog, like, because I don't think there's any fog in the movie at all. But
no, there's no.
There's like
there's no supernatural thing.
Yeah, there feels like a net over his little world.
Absolutely.
It's
that isolation feel. But yes, so yeah, everything's kind of coming into play, and things are moving fast because last him and Totoro talked, it's 3 days. You have 3 days to give me the magazine.
The ultimatum.
I accept that you think that there's proof. Do this. And he calls his ex-wife, and they kind of talk. And again, like I was saying, the phone conversations, I can't quite tell if it's fully real or not, but the house is then burned down.
Yes.
I'd say probably 2 or 3 scenes after the dog death, after all these, the house burns down.
Well, like, doesn't he want her to bring him the magazine? And she's like, no, come get it.
Yes.
So he gets,
or she makes a mention like, oh, absolutely, I have it in the right cabinet above the fucking Cheerios.
So he's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna come get it.
Yes, and spoiler, he's not, Totoro and Johnny Depp are the same character. So anything Totoro does, Johnny Depp is doing. So he burns his own house down. He,
mind blown.
Yeah. Stabs his own dog in the neck with a screwdriver.
That's rough.
Very rough.
Johnny Depp's a terrible fucking person for that.
Very rough, very rough.
I love Johnny Depp, though. We can't kill Johnny Depp.
No.
He's good.
No. Arrest Amber Heard.
Yeah. I'm with that.
But 100%. Yes, the house is burned down, and the inspectors instantly are like, it's arson. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly, just, like, pull up. I know people whose houses have burned down, they still don't know, like, a definite conclusion. They're like, nope, definite arson.
Well, I don't think it's the fire inspector. It's like a regular fireman. I don't know if they're lieutenants or whatever. He's walking up with like the metal tweezers and a bottle. He's like, "This is it," like instantly. And I think the next scene is then them at the insurance, kind of establishing like, "Hey, is this what you lost? We're sorry." Blah blah blah.
And we get another tense love scene.
Yes, it's like not quite love triangle.
Yeah, they bring back up the divorce, and he's like, "I'm not signing the papers."
Yeah. That's his. He doesn't care what happens at the end of it. He's not signing these fucking papers. But it's another good scene where Johnny Depp's bouncing off someone is the rubbernecker.
Rubbernecker.
And
oh my god!
He says it like 10 times. He's like, Tim's rubbernecking, and she's like, Tim, you're rubbernecking. He's like, I'm not making a big deal about him rubbernecking, but he's rubbernecking. Tim, do you know you're rubbernecking? And he just keeps going on and on and on. And it's a nice scene. I love it.
Yeah, and then finally the lawyer, I guess, tells her, he's like, well, technically, sir, you don't have any claim to look at these papers. And he's like, fine, whatever, and he leaves.
Yes. And he finally gets one more, and he's like, rubbernecker?
Yeah, like right before the door closes, he's like, rubbernecker. It's so funny.
It almost feels like a slur at the end of like that scene. It's like, is rubbernecker bad to say?
I feel like only Johnny Depp's getting rubbernecker over. You know what I'm saying? No one else is doing that scene and making me laugh.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know Timothy Hutton, but Timothy Hutton is a rubbernecker.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny Depp at this point.
I'm a team Johnny Depp, a team Mort Rainey. But yes, they go over it finally, and they leave, and it's a funny scene. It's Johnny Depp, his ex-wife Maria Bello, and a random bike messenger, and it's just this quiet, tense, awkward scene of nothing.
And dude knows it. The messenger guy, he knows. He's got his sunglasses on, his helmet on, his earphones in.
The second this opens, I'm outie.
I'm finna Usain Bolt out this goddamn elevator.
It's like someone farted in there and no one's taking claim for it. It's so bad. It's so tense.
He could feel it. He's like, I gotta get out of here.
It reminds me of the first 10 seconds of Disturbed Stricken. The office mailman walks in the elevator. He's like, and he's so angry. He's like, oh, white guy rage.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of that. Like, he's so done. He's like, it reminds me of like almost like a Cohen. Very short, small scene, means nothing, but you kind of remember the scene if you talk about it. Like where you are, like okay, kind of scene by scene,
and you chuckle.
You remember it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't know what to make of scenes like that in movies like this. Because it's like, am I supposed to be laughing right now? I don't know. Fuck it, I'm laughing. I laugh at everything, so fuck it, I'm laughing.
That's true.
When in doubt, laugh.
No. Don't follow your own advice, Brett. But yeah, we're kind of a little bit past midway through the plot, and he finally, I think I'm going to say it's a day or two, because we might be on the last of the third days. They don't really tell you, and I kind of wish there was a next day here or there.
Yes.
Because you told me a time frame. You told me you have 3 days. And get it, but what day did this take place?
Here's my logic behind that. I feel like every time they transition a scene more than 2 times, because there's several scenes where it's like transition, it's like real quick. I feel like those are days passing. I don't know if that's what they meant or meant for. That's what I'm in my canon. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, there is established dialogue as far as timeline, but it's not as blatant, and I kind of wish it was, because it's like the show 24. If you tell me there's 24 hours, boop,
let me know.
Give me a timer. It doesn't need to be on the bottom all fucking time, but something. A next day, 1 or 2 next days would have been fine.
It would have helped keep this on track.
Yes. But yeah, we're kind of, I'm going to say, a little bit past midway, and I believe the magazine is finally delivered to him from, I think his ex-wife, or he had to order a new one by his publisher or something.
Yeah, and he's got to go pick it up from
he picks it up at the post office. And it's a fun little scene where he mishears some dialogue by a little counter girl. And then he immediately rushes to his car, opens the book, and his whole story is cut out. And a straight edge razor blade ruler cut to the scene. And he has a little freak out. And you now notice something's up because it's shipped to him. Who fucked it up?
Yeah, and the clerk at the post office makes a comment. She's like, "We're actually not supposed to hand out UPS mail."
I was saying, but the dialogue, it's a small little dialogue with him and his little girl behind the counter. Yes. It's a nice little scene. He's like, I think they'll shoot me.
Yeah.
Or they'll shoot her or something.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what it is. It's the play on shoot her.
Yes.
Because they keep doing that. And to me, the first thing that come to my mind was, we're huge Arrested Development, man. Arrested Development, the Lucille joke runs for like 3 or 4 seasons straight and hard. There's
very, very left turn play on words, very literal. Yes.
Very literal. And it's like, oh my God, no, they didn't.
Yes. And it gets, I didn't notice it. Like, I noticed her dialogue, but at the end of the movie, Shooter is the name of Totoro's character, and he has it scratched everywhere when he finally snaps, and the last time it's shown, it says shoot her.
Shoot her.
Meaning his ex-wife, who is obviously stumbling upon this kind of horrific scene.
That's one of my favorite scenes. The bounce around camera of it. First, it's like small, him doing it with like a pencil on the desk. Then it's on the wall or written on the mirror. Then it's,
It kind of reminds me of Liar, Liar.
Yeah.
Where he has to write down red or royal blue because he can't, with the blue pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. It's drawn every fucking where.
And then the reveal with him with the fedora, the Malachi hat from Children of the
scene
Corn.
we're talking about where he's talking to himself and he has like 12 doppelgangers that are kind of continuing the same conversation, and that's when everything starts breaking down.
Each voice keeps shutting down the other, is what happens.
Yeah, it'll start with like, oh, I'm talking to this one of me in the corner. He walks away after 2 seconds, but he takes off his robe. Well, the next one of those doppelgangers he's talking to does not have the robe on, and it's kind of like after images, like DBZ anime.
Yeah, he shoots down all ideas he presents to himself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the whole time he's
everything
agreeing with
he says is
himself.
like, oh yeah, no, but that would never work.
The last 6, the last like 2 or 3 of them are like, just call the cops. Just call the cops. He knows something's up. Just do it. End of the day.
You killed all these people. Like, come on. We know, or you did this.
Yes, there's one more conversation between him and his wife, and she's like, "Fuck this. He signed the papers today, or I'm a dead woman." Like,
very brave of her.
My dead body. She's done. But yes, that's how the movie kind of false ends, because at the end, after their deaths, where you would think average movie is, it goes on for a little bit after their deaths. But nonetheless, like you were saying, the payoff on her death.
Oh my God.
You feel it. It almost feels like Hostile.
It
very
does.
Gritty. It's small, but brutal.
Because with the doppelganger scene, and he's talking to himself for so long, you know he snapped. It's over with. He's done.
At that point, the director's
you know what I'm
pulling
saying?
all the tricks.
It's like Johnny Depp is done. So you know what's coming next, and because he says the line, we have to rewrite the ending. Or
yes,
we have to finish the ending.
It was the ending the whole time, or something like this. Yeah,
we need to finish the like an appropriate ending for his character or whatever he's talking about.
Yes, on his new story that again the whole movie is about writer's block and being left alone with It sounds cliche, but hate in your heart. Because I think we've all done that. We've all isolated ourselves for a month or two in our lives where it's like you either snap out of it or go on for a little bit more, but you're like, holy shit, hang on, whoa.
But you definitely have the conversation with yourself after a certain amount of time.
I'm thinking about pushing an old lady next to a bus. What the fuck is going on?
It's like, how long are we actually going to do this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
You lost a job.
Is it really that bad?
He fucking left you. She fucking left you. It ain't fucking worth it. Yeah. You have those moments, but he didn't take those moments away. And, so the kind of catalyst to finish the movie off, in a sense, is, the ex-wife is, I'm going to sign the papers. And Timothy Hutton follows...
Shortly after.
I don't want to say shortly after. Probably 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, he definitely thinks about
Shortly after in the long run. But,
you're like, damn it, she's stupid for going.
In movie time, 20 minutes. So minutes.
You watch it play out in his face. He's like, damn it, she's stupid for going. And he's like, I'm mad. And then it's like, fuck.
He's a white knight. He's a white knight, and I fucking hate him.
And it's like, fuck. He's probably going to go crazy. I'm going to save her. Damn it. You know, like, he does all of that in his head pretty quickly.
Yeah, again, that normal 10 minutes, like, am I really going to follow her? Am I going to look like an asshole? Am I going to look like a fucking dumbass?
Yeah.
Am I overreacting? But yeah, the wife stumbles upon the house. Well, not stumbles upon, but she opens the door. And not immediately, but almost immediately, it's like, well, the house is a mess.
Something's going on.
And I made a comment. I'm like, well, so far it's just a single dude's house. Pillows on the ground. No shit.
Like, as soon as she gets out the car, his story from the magazine that he himself has cut out is like blowing down the sidewalk.
That is what that paper is. Yeah. I was curious what that paper was, and I knew what it was, but my mind didn't go like, that's...
Because she stops, and she's like... And she picks it up, and it's got blood stains on it, and it's got the title, Secret Window.
I thought it was Totoro's book. But that's
no,
with at that point.
No, because
it's no longer in the plot. You don't need to show it. You know that Totoro and Depp are the same man.
Yeah, because the last time they show that part of the yard is when he's sitting in the Jeep and he opens it to find out that somebody had cut out his story. Only his story from this magazine that he had ordered.
So if his door is open, the only book that could have came out. See, I didn't click that. Thank you. This is a live reaction to that moment. But yeah, she stumbles upon all this shit, and she's noticing things. She notices a Jack bottle and the word shoot or carved to the table, and she's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, how bad of a drunk you gotta be to be like, oh, you're carving a table again? Good for you, Johnny.
Yeah.
But she progressively sees it's more and more.
Everywhere.
It's on the stairs. And it's carved. I mean, it's not like drawing. It's carved. It takes...
My favorite ones are the zoom out shots where like you don't quite know what it is. It just looks like scratches on the wall, and then like the camera zooms out and it's like, oh, it says shooter like on the roof. Yeah, it's crazy.
So my enjoyment more is the stacked images where you see a couple of them, but then it's like, well, here's the whole fucking table.
Yeah.
I enjoy those more. So I like that we enjoyed the same scene, but opposite ways. That's kind of what the podcast is.
Different views.
But yes, she notices, and then the final strike to shoot her, and Johnny Depp is kind of split between them with the Children of the Corn hat, like we've been calling it. I keep
it's the Malachi hat.
I've been trying to think of what is that called, and I'm like,
it's the Malachi.
I'm just thinking that the whole time.
Yeah, it's a Stephen King movie. It's Malachi's hat. It's got to be.
Cue that beautiful cornfield image.
Oh, yes. Shout out to that little fucker. God.
We're going to do that eventually, strictly so I can find out what the rest of his career was. Because I don't want to spoil it. I want the live reaction.
Yeah. And I cannot wait to shit on Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn 1 is actually really good.
It's really good.
From 2 and beyond. There's one in between that's all right, where the kid, not the kid, but they get moved to the city, and they make a cornfield in between the two apartment buildings they're adopted at.
Yeah.
It's kind of good. I think it's the third or fourth.
I did see that.
But the other ones are dog shit. I watched one where it's directly afterwards in the next town. Different story. Anyway.
So, I believe in our universe, it's safe to say this is Malachi's hat. Because think about it, when he puts the hat on, that's when he creates the second fucking human in his head.
I'm going to wait on that because we have a tangent about that.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, the attack on the wife, the final assault on her.
So good.
He pulls her hair at first, and she actually gets in the car, but it's a
fucking standard.
It's standard, and I didn't notice that at first, and Jake was like, that's a fucking standard.
That's
and
a standard.
Like, if I had a standard, I feel like I'd be out of there faster.
You would think.
Can pop.
You would would think you could be able to get out of there pretty quickly.
There's a reason
that
why
tells
race
me
cars and shit are all. You don't have many automatic.
That tells me
cars.
I'm not knocking all women. I'm just saying that tells me this chick didn't know how to drive a standard.
She knew how to drive one.
Obviously,
and I'm standing up for women right here, right now. I'll make the stand.
Obviously, she knew how to drive it. She drove it there.
Not in traffic.
But she she had to get through traffic to get there.
Not really.
Well, maybe. Who knows?
See, that's another question. She drove there.
Exactly.
It has to be in New York.
Yeah. Upstate.
Or at least
somewhere. Jersey. It's in Jersey.
Off tangent. We're going to Google these.
Yeah.
This might be a prequel of Children of Corinth because, again, we have another tangent. But, yes, he attacks her, pulls her hair. She tries to escape. He takes a rock, breaks the window, pulls her out.
Nice.
Drags her back inside, and then she takes the same screwdriver that killed Chico, the dog, to her leg.
Oh, yeah.
She tries to escape one more time.
Right through the fat part, too. God, that sucks.
Yeah, it was lower fat, though, which is worse. I'll take fat.
God, that would suck.
I'll take fat any day.
Yeah.
The wound I have, it's not fat. It's kind of the same area.
Yeah.
Hers a little bit higher. Ooh, no, I'll take fat any day.
Yeah.
Shoot me in the fucking ass.
Yeah.
Any day.
That's not fun.
But he kind of playfully kicks her. She tries to go out the back door.
And
he just like...
Spartan kicks her... taps her on the ass and she falls.
It's like Spartan kick meme. He's not even trying. Yeah, it's just like a boop. Very cartoony, but yeah.
Pops her head on the rock.
And he's still quoting his book, and she's like, but you're Mort Rainey, because he's like, Mort wanted me to do this. And she's like, you're Mort, you're Mort, you're Mort. She keeps repeating this, and Timothy Hutton shows up. And as much as I enjoyed the ex-wife's screwdriver leg, Timothy Hutton taking the shovel to the face...
She sets up the best kill.
...is probably my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. At
the moment.
Yeah. She sets up the best kill.
Yeah.
Because she screams. She's like... No!
He's killing me!
And
so good.
It's on like a screened-in porch. And he's running. And he swings the door open and Johnny Depp just smacks him right in the face.
Question. Only because if I was in this situation... I wouldn't go... You don't have to go through the screen part to get to where the backyard... It's all open.
Yeah.
He could have just not... That
could have
saves
walked
time
around.
and you're sneakier.
Yeah.
Old Depp Boy wasn't expecting it. He could have dropped Johnny Depp right there.
For sure.
He could have got 10 minutes
He could have took
out
Johnny Depp, too.
No.
He could have took him.
No. I don't know much about Timothy Hutton, but not in this film.
Well, he was about to beat his ass at the gas station. They tried to play on the fact that Johnny Depp was smart.
No.
So he just, like, antagonized him and moved, so he punched the window. It's like, come on.
I'll go doo-doo on his acting in this movie, but I'm not going to go doo-doo on his fighting.
I don't.
I'll put 20 on Johnny Depp any day over Timothy Hutton.
Maybe.
Grudge Match 2022.
I'm with it.
I'm calling it.
I'm with it.
I'm calling it. But yeah, Timothy Hutton takes it to the face, a nice shovel to the face, which they call back to the second conversation with Totoro's character, where he's like, "You look like you're a man looking to take someone's head out with a shovel." He quite literally does that. He hits him once in the face, puts his foot on his chest, and then shovel to his neck, or I believe jaw, and does that.
Boom.
What you're supposed to do with the shovel, you kick it.
On it.
You kick it into the ground and snaps his spinal cord off screen. But you see the silhouette, and it's as enjoyable as I want it.
It's good.
Goes to his wife instantly and says, "I have a spot for you," perfectly.
Yeah.
And he plants a cornfield on their grave, which is what made us say, "This is Children of Corn."
It's the same world. It's got to be.
I'm gonna call it.
It's canon.
If I ever meet Stephen King, I'm not gonna ask him for an autograph, not a picture, but like off camera. I'm not
Secret
recording.
Window, Children of the Corn.
Is it the same?
It's got to be.
Because like Salem's Lot and Pet Cemetery or some shit are the same universe. It has to be.
I think so.
To some extent. Because he had called two characters.
I think he's got like his own version of, it's like a fictitious version of like the Northeast.
Yes.
Like he's got like a Maine because he's got the town.
Gary, Indiana, and Maine, yes.
He's got the town where it takes place.
That's Gary, Indiana.
You know, and
I want to do those.
He's got these different locations.
Yes.
We could build his verse, the Stephen King verse.
I kind of want to. Like we were saying, we're doing actors. I kind of want to do it with directors, but I don't want to for certain actors and directors and writers because I want to talk about individual movies more than, oh, by the way, Misery's fucking brilliant. By the way, Green Mile, if you haven't seen it, lol. I want to talk about Green Mile for 5 hours because it's...
Well, we can also use those as like bookmarks for stuff to come back to later on.
Absolutely. I definitely want there to be some sort of contiguousness in our podcast.
Because it seems like every podcast we list 3 or 4 movies that neither one of us have thought about to write down. We always make a reference for some off-brand movie, and it's like, we should probably watch that, you know?
We found out with superhero movies.
Yeah. We should just do like a whole block.
I think we're going to do a superhero summer or something eventually where we do every, I don't want to say Rite Aid CBS version of Marvel, but there's a lot of great movies like Wanted.
Other than Marvel.
And, Dark Horse has a lot, like you were saying, Spirit.
Sin
City I want to do. Sin City 2 is another amazing film.
I'm with them. Those
another
are
day
good.
for another time, but we're kind of
The
at
Punisher. Losers.
That's a movie is going to be on the immediate list. Punisher is probably one of my favorite Tom Jane roles.
He was great in that movie.
He had a pretty good career for a little bit. Not dogging anything he's ever done.
Yeah.
Every man's got to eat, whatever. But yes, he spoiler alert, he kills his wife and plants corn there. Like we were saying, we believe it's in a Children of the Corn universe because there's almost purposeful things. The hat, the emphasis on corn.
Yes.
Because not a lot of his films focus on corn.
No, not.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So I want to ask him that if I ever meet him, or hey, Stephen King, if you're watching this, I don't care if you hate it.
Hey, bruh.
Email me.
What's up with that corn?
Right. And it cuts to. It doesn't tell you how many weeks or months later, but
it's definitely in the future.
It's a couple seasons because that cornfield is hearty. Supernatural. I think that's the only supernatural thing in a film is the corn.
Is the corn.
But he's in town and he immediately goes and it's 180 creepy pervert vibe.
Yeah,
I
he
believe
sniffs
I think it's the post office girl.
It's the post office girl.
Or not comeback. For all the hardcore fans of this film, the post office girl comes back and he sniffs her.
Yes.
I thought he did, but we just rewatched it and I was like, that's a sniff.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't.
And the poor girl's like, I don't even want a bag, bro. Just give him my
braces
shit.
too, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird choices, but I love it. And that's only about 8 minutes of the film, and I kind of want it to be another 45 minutes.
Yeah, I feel
a whole second movie afterwards. Ooh,
I feel like they should have let him like establish his little fake life afterwards. Yes. Like he should have been driving his ex-wife's car, weird little shit like that,
using their credit card and shit.
He's super friendly around town.
Slimy, yeah. Again, I loved it
because when he's freaking out, and he goes to the post office the first time, the cop comes up and knocks on his window with the shades on, and he's like a creepy looking cop. He looks like he's like, that boy ain't right. He's like that. He's that.
I feel like that's his bumper sticker.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely like that. So at the end, when he comes...
Palin, 2016.
After all is said and done, and they can't find all these people or whatever, this cop comes up to his house, and he's like, look, I know what you did. We can't prove it, but I know what you did, and I know you're not right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how every Stephen King movie is. The bad guy doesn't
If not,
nothing,
it should be.
Yeah, like nothing happens to the bad guys. They just keep living.
It would be so much more shorter if a cop just was like, "You kids good?"
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's
I like it though. Yeah, it kind of annoys me because he let it slip for so long. Now you want to be a cop the last 5 seconds of the film. Now you want to be Mr. Upstanding guy. Fuck you.
Shouldn't he have said something like immediately? Is like,
one or
look,
two
I
things.
I had an interaction with this fucking dude in front of the post office, and he looked off then. So now all these officers that's dealing with him are dead or disappeared.
Yeah. I kind of wish the wife's car and Timothy Hutton's car was still just in the driveway. Like I said, I wanted a couple more, at least 20 more minutes of just slimy, slithering,
weird little shit. Like, he goes to town and he's super friendly with people, and he's still buying dog food. Shit like that.
We're doing weird things. Weird things.
Everyone knows his dog died. He went to the cop to tell him about it, but he's still like buying dogs.
Did you get a new dog? He's like, nope.
Like, no, she's just like day in a life. Like,
I wanted a couple more minutes. I wish they would have saved the ending.
It would have added a weird Robin Williams 1 hour photo aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? Because that movie is a lot of day in the life.
You mentioned one of the
greatest movies of all time,
Robin Williams films, in my opinion.
Yes.
Better than
it's my favorite.
Better than Vietnam.
It's my favorite.
Better than Aladdin. Oh, anyway, we're about done. Let's not make this any longer, you poor guys. But yeah, the cop's like, don't come into town. You're sniffing people. You're just stop.
I know that you're fucking weird. Like I said, that boy ain't right. Sums up this cop.
Yeah, I wish that was the ending, only because I personally, the last 2 seconds, not that anything changes, but the shot irks me.
Yeah.
They pan out to the secret window that the whole movie is kind of named after, quote unquote, to the cornfield, and then in a snap, zoom back to Johnny Depp taking a bite of corn with the braces and the little mustache and credits. And it annoys me. I don't like going out of a shot to go back into a shot.
Yeah. And especially for the irony of this is the name of the movie.
You could have made the buttering of the corn more perverted and weird.
If they wanted to do that, they should have had him bite the corn, then have it just zoom out of the entire house, show the big ass cornfield. Obviously, that's well fertilized. You know what I'm saying? There's obviously bodies.
Oh, you got
there.
a body farm.
Yeah,
as Paddle Decap says.
He said he had enough room for his wife, but then he had to hide other bodies.
Yeah.
He's got enough fucking room. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I just didn't like the final shot.
I agree.
I like
but I know that's why they did it.
I like the movie. They could have just switched it, though.
I would, yeah.
Nonetheless, like I said, I like the movie. I'd give it a B+.
I do too. I give it a B+, or probably whatever.
But if you ask me about
Totoro,
if you ask me about Totoro's, yes, Totoro, I give it.
Totoro's
an
A+. Yeah.
Totoro's an A+, which makes it an A-. Exactly.
Totoro's A+.
Same as Charles Dutton.
Charles Dutton is an A+. He really kills.
Look up his movies. Like I said, it's Legion and Rudy. A lot of films you wouldn't expect. Very good career.
And he's in everything on TV. Yes,
he seems like a Blue Bloods kind of guy.
He's a guy.
But that's kind of the end of it, and the running gag is I don't ever know what exactly is next episode, even though it's only between us. Yeah. I can guarantee the next episode is Talladega Nights. The one time you can bet on it is at this moment.
Unless the world ends literally after we stop.
This is true.
And you never know.
Well, that's Neighborzilla, and that was Versus Secret Window.
Peace.
Long weekends are all